Alright, back in the carport garage again today. And today, I'm going to run some of this intercooler popping. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this horn. It's attached up here, and I can just unscrew the bolt. Clock that up. We'll go right through there, over the air dam. See what we got. So definitely gonna have to come a 90 off that. And luckily I've already got one cut that's about as short as I can cut it without starting to get into the bend. Alright, so here's what I come up with. I'm gonna come off that straight down, and I did have to cut the air dam. I almost forgot what that's called. And I came out. I needed like 790s, so I just cut some 180s in half and kind of bridged it. And then over here I run out of couplers, so I'm going to have to buy some new couplers. So I just used some of that blue tape to hold it together, get an idea of what I want. So I came up, over, straight up, and then I'll use this straight piece, like that right there, and then I'll have to buy another 90 to go into the intake, and then the blow-off valve and the intake air temperature sensor is going to go in there. That's what I come up with. I actually wanted to run the exhaust out this side, but I think I'm just going to run the exhaust straight down this way and then back that way and just straight down. Be all right. So I took everything back off. I'm gonna have to order a couple of 90s, which actually, if you order those separated, it's almost as much as if you just buy the whole kit. So I might just buy another whole kit. And we used 245s on Christopher's car, which that wouldn't have mattered because I didn't need any 45s at all. I needed a bunch of 90s. But I don't know. I'm just going to order another kit from VS Racing. Check them out for your turbo parts. Got some pretty good prices on stuff. But I took all that off and I grinded my welds down and I painted it. I probably could have grinded those down, but as someone said in the last video, turn your wire speed down, and I think they are 100% correct, because I guess if your wire speed's too high, it'll look like bird poop or bird's nest or whatever. I've been watching some videos, been learning a little. So but yeah, those don't look bad at all after I hit it with the sanding wheel and the angle grinder. Some look better than others, of course, like that one. I mean, if someone had this for sale, I mean, I'd buy it. I mean, it works. But I mean, good enough for me. It serves its purpose, and I mean, it looks good to me. But I'm watching some welding videos, and I figured some things that I've done wrong. Also, that eBay, or not eBay, Harbor Freight mask, it doesn't work too good. I think that's a lot of our problems, but it's hard to see through it. No matter what setting, it's got settings on it, but it's hard to see through it, period. I'm gonna come out here today. I'm at lunch break right now. I work from home, but I'm out here today. I'm gonna cut this out. I'm gonna leave the Chevy emblem in the middle. I'm not gonna worry about the front license plate. Kentucky, you don't need a front license plate. I know some states require that, but Kentucky is not one of them. I'm gonna cut it all out, all from the black area. all the way around, down this way, and after I get that cut out, I think I'm gonna practice welding some, or I'm gonna take this the rest of the way off. And well, I got the wastegate down there because I want to figure out where I want to put it. I want to put that one in the bend, and then I'm gonna put this one in the bend right here, which I got to be careful there, because if that comes straight, I think I'm just going to angle it up some. I think that'll be fine. I don't know, maybe I'll put it here and angle it up. Oh yeah, that'd probably be the best bet. And angle it up, and then the wastegate pipe can go down this way, and then this pipe come out, down, and across, and the wastegate pipe can go down in there. So I'll probably just put it at an angle right here. It'd be perfect room for it. And then the intake's gonna go through here. Should be fine. We'll try that. I'm gonna think on that more. I might even put it at an angle down here, straight down. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure that out. Man, it takes a lot of thought on this, because you got to think your intake. You know, you got to think your intake coming in. You got to think, you know, your boost pressure coming out, the intercooler pipes coming around, your wastegate pipe coming out, your exhaust pipe, your intake ducting, your blow-off valve, your intake air temperature sensor. You got to put a lot of thought into it, because if you put stuff in the wrong place, stuff will get in the way of itself. You'll be having to redo a bunch of stuff. But I think if we go at an angle right here, that'll put the wastegate about right here. That'll work. Or I can put it at an angle at the very bottom, straight down. And that would work too. Just gotta think about it. All right, work day's done. And I come out here on my last break, and apparently I had the settings wrong on the welder. Not only did I not have it set to the correct metal, I guess that's like 12 gauge that we were welding them brackets on. So I didn't have the settings right at all. I came out here and I practiced. Also, when you're welding, I didn't even know this. When you're welding without gas, the ground wire goes to this terminal, and then the welder goes to this terminal. If you are welding with gas, then it's opposite. The ground wire goes to this terminal, etc. But anyway, that's actually like 11 gauge according to my measurements, but there's not one in here for 11 gauge. So 12 gauge, 30 wire. So I did 4.5 in D, and I had it before on C, and then a wire speed of 3. But anyway, I came out here and I practiced some. So this is where I started. I went too slow, and then I attempted there again, too slow, and then I jumped over here and I tried to pull it. I was pushing it on these, and then I tried to pull it and did that. No. And then I pushed it here, and look at this one. This one's pretty good. I like that one. I'm going to practice a little bit more. And I'm not trying none of the fancy stuff to do the dimes. I'm just trying to get a good straight bead for now. And once I learn how to do that, then I'll try to do the C or the Z or the cursive V or the zigzag or whatever to try to get the dimes in there. But I'm just, see, now if I welded that whole bracket like that, I'd have been happy. Okay, let's see if I can keep it up through here. And plus I can do the back side also, practice on it. But yeah, let me try a little bit more. Alright, so I did that one. I went too slow, and there I went too fast. But still, that don't look too bad. That's the main thing, I think, keeping the tip at the right angle and getting the speed down. And then which this is my goal right here, just to a straight line weld, and then once I get that, then I'll try the fancy stuff. But yeah, just practicing. If you guys have any pointers, let me know. Alright, then on the back side I started there. I was a little too low, I guess. I went too slow there. And that don't look too bad. Probably went a little too quick on that one. I tried to do the back and forth thing to do the dimes. And I mean, it looks like it was trying right there. Let me scrape it a little better. Yeah, it was trying to right there. Ooh. And this is with the flux core wire. This is no gas, so I think you get less spatter. Again, I don't even know what I'm doing or talking about, but I'm making progress. I'm happy about that. I'm gonna go on out through here, but I ran out of wire. I'm gonna have to grab another spool. I got one up here on the counter though. Well, I guess I'm out of flux core wire. It's solid wire. That's for gas. I'm out of gas. Costs like 80 bucks to fill that little thing. So, no more practicing today. But what we can do is cut this thing out, and we can go ahead and cut that out. And I'm just going to use an angle grinder with a cutoff wheel on that, and a razor blade with a utility knife. Then we can mark these and take all this off and drill our holes and get our pipe ready. I don't feel like going to the store and getting any more welding wire right now. I just do the other stuff that I can do. Well, I lied. I'm gonna go get some more wire. I got some more wire. Well, Austin's practicing.
Don't look.
He does better than I do. Definitely. We're not welders. We're just practicing, trying to learn a little.
Not even claiming to be, so.
Yeah. We'll get there. I mean, we got this welder. It's Christopher's welder. He bought it a long time ago. He brought it up here because we knew we was going to put the cage in the car. And I had a buddy from high school do that. But because we didn't really have time to learn, and while Chris was here and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we're going to try to figure it out. Any of you welders out there, give us some tips. Austin's kicking my butt. Look at that. That's Austin. That's Austin. 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 And me. And me. And me. And me. I don't know. I think I'm blind. I don't know. I forgot where I left off, but that big old thick piece, I'm not going to use that. It was the angle grinder had a hard time cutting through it. At angles, it wanted to keep kicking back on me. But I went and got this stuff from Advance. It's just these small pieces. I got like 4 of them. And then I drilled me a hole saw, a hole with a hole saw over there. And I put this back on the car. Well, I put it on the car and I marked it. And then I cut the hole, and then I cut this in about the angle I needed with the angle grinder and a cutoff wheel. And then I put it back on the car and set this up here and did some markings where I wanted it. I'm gonna go about right there. And now I'm just grinding this down with the sanding wheel to make it fit flat all the way around. You gotta do some maneuvering. Alright, we got it tacked up. There was a big gap here, but after we tacked it, we was able to beat it shut with a hammer. Now I'm gonna take the die grinder with one of the carbide bits and along that out, but I'm gonna put this back on to make sure that's gonna be in the right spot. Alright guys, guys and gals, it's another day in the carport garage. And there's what we got. So this wastegate, I don't know if y'all saw the video on my going over the wastegates I bought from eBay that we wound up putting on Austin's car, but it had 3 of these holes. Well, this one only had one. And the way it was pointing right at the fender. I didn't like it there. So I had to reclock this. In order to reclock this, tried to change the spring anyway. It came with a 14-pound spring, a 7-pound spring, for a total of 21. So I've got a 450 liter prior pump in this car. It'll do, that pump should do 750 rear wheel easy, but I only got 60-pound injectors, so that's going to limit us about 550, and this is wheel horsepower until I can get some bigger injectors. So I just put a 7-pound spring in there, and we're just going to leave it on 7 pounds until I can get some bigger injectors. But I had to take this all the way apart, and then I had to push the valve up and take these 3 screws inside of here out. You can take that valve part off. Make sure when you do this, if you ever do this, be careful pulling the diaphragm out of its groove, because you can crack it, and if you do, it's ruined. But I guess you could take that piece off the top that holds the diaphragm. There was some roll pins in there, but I didn't want to do that. So I cut an Allen wrench. They're Allen screws. So I cut an Allen wrench just long enough that it would reach it all the way down. That way when I backed it out, there was still room to get the Allen wrench out. But that took forever. Them things are in there tight. They use some kind of Loctite or something, but I don't know. They're tight. They were tight all the way out, and then they were tight all the way back in. I thought I probably fooled with that one to reclock it and put the new spring in. Plus, putting the new spring in by yourself, I do have a C-clamp, but my C-clamp maxes out like right there. So I don't know. I fought with that for 2 hours doing that, but we got it all welded up. The welds, even though we practiced, they didn't get any better, because welding this thin stuff's a lot harder than welding that thick stuff. But the welds look just as good as the muffler shop welds. So either way, you're not going to see it because I put header wrap on it. So now we can go ahead and put this one in, and it won't have to come back out. Hopefully, I'll put this one in and I'll tighten it up. I don't really want to have to pull that header out of there, because it's a big headache to pull that thing out of there by yourself. Plus, I don't want to take all them bolts out. Them 4 bolts that go in, I said header, I said turbo. The 4 bolts that go into that turbo are really hard to get in and out. So hopefully I've got that, you know, that T4 that goes this way and goes this way. So hopefully I can put this on, tighten that V-band, and it'll hold the turbo. It is going to droop a little because that little flex pipe in there. But it's one of the good flex pipes. See, it don't have that crap in the, you don't want that frayed crap to be on the inside. But yeah, let's go ahead and put that back in, and I'm going to do the other side the same way, and put the wastegate on it. And I'm not going to put a pipe on these yet. They're just going to be pointing straight down. I'm going to order some pipe for that when I order the 4-inch pipe for the exhaust, but we're getting closer and closer. Oh, but also that wastegate I got on eBay, I'll post the link or show the picture of this one. The diaphragm and stuff is way better than those other ones I ordered. The diaphragm and them other ones, it just didn't sit right, and it was hard fighting the diaphragm into the groove and putting the spring on, whereas this one, you just pushed it down, the diaphragm went right in the groove, and then all you had to worry about was putting the spring on. So even though this one don't have all the ports the other one had, it's only got the 1 port, and it's a pain in the butt to reclock it. This is a better diaphragm inside there. This is a better wastegate, I think. This is the wastegate I ordered this time. It was better than the one I ordered last time. This is the wastegate I ordered last time. This one wasn't as good. The diaphragm wasn't seated correctly. It didn't seat correctly, and it was all warped. Plus, I don't like the V-band flanges on these, because when you weld the V-band flange to the exhaust, if you get too much heat in it, you warp it, and then it doesn't even seal. So I like the flange type better than the V-band type. Alright, that one's in its final destination. Won't ever have to take that one back out, hopefully. I just got the jack on there, holding the turbo. This one's not all the way tightened up, so it can still tilt up and down. I don't got that one tightened up down here either, so I can tilt this back and forth. It's just a little resting up against the transmission cooler on that, and then on the jack. Now we can drill the hole for this one, weld it up, and put the wastegate on that one. So I drilled my hole, and then cutting these. So I needed like a 45. So what I did was I cut just right through here. I marked the top and the bottom. It had these lines in here, I guess from where they made it. 2 lines directly across from each other. And then I just cut right through here with a cutoff wheel, like half of the angle that I actually needed, because it needed like a 45-degree angle. But if you cut that angle right there and then smooth this area out where my thumb and finger are with the sanding wheel, and then boom, perfect. Like that. I don't think that's a true 45, but that's going to work. And even if you wanted to go lower this way, you just sand with the sanding wheel more out of the bottom. But I think that'll work for me. And that's the sanding wheel. That's a cutoff wheel. That's an angle grinder, if y'all don't know. Now I'll take the die grinder with a carbide bit, and I'll clean this out. I could probably use the die grinder to do this too, but the sanding wheel seems to work better. I'm gonna take a die grinder and open that up. I really don't need to open that hole up, I just need to clean it up, but that hole's big enough right there. But I'm gonna take the die grinder with the carbide bit and clean this up and clean this out. All right, and this side's all header wrapped in. Put the wastegate down there. There's plenty of room. Now I'm gonna jack it up and run the oil drain line and the oil feed line. All right, I ordered this oil feed for the turbo. This is the oil feed kit I ordered, and I really didn't like the way that this threaded in on the motor part. I think you're better off, because the nut, and I'll touch on that later, the nut don't spin, so you have to spin the whole tube while it's stuck through the motor, and it's just a pain in the butt. Oh, it's got like a restrictor hole in it. It had a straight line with it, and then it had a four-way block. I guess if you was running 2 turbos and a manual oil pressure gauge, but the gasket didn't even fit. But this part fits. That's good. I've got an extra gasket sitting over here from something else. Hopefully that gasket fits. But I use the ICT engine side oil thing. Get under here in the seat. Take y'all with me for the ride. Yeah, there we go. It only came with 1 plug. I need another plug. Somewhere to go to the parts store tomorrow and get it. And that nut on the line sucked, because the line was all circled up, and that nut does not turn on the line. It's fixed to the line. So that was a pain in the butt. So those are all 1/8 inch MPT fittings, so I use the yellow thread tape there, and then the ICT billet. It's got a rubber gasket that goes into a groove, and my gasket stuck to the engine, of the old one I took off, just make sure you get the gasket off, because you only use the rubber gasket. You don't want to use the other gasket and the rubber gasket. You're going to have some problems. Alright, that line reached good. See if you can see that in there. Not really. And that's the 4-foot hose. There was a little extra, but now I want to do something here and do something there, because I don't like it that close to the exhaust. And I'll probably clock this back a little, and it'll hold the line. Bring this back and tighten it up, but I got to put the blanket on it first. But before I put the blanket on it, I want to run the down pipe. And then I got the old drain 90 degrees on. So there's that one on the oil pan. I had that put on there when I built the motor. They and fit and welded onto the oil pan, because I knew I was going to go turbo. And there's one on here too on the bottom. And I'm just going to use the push lock rubber hose and some hose clamps. Got to be good, but that's still coming in the mail. So I'm going to have to get a couple more 90 degrees for the intercooler, piping, have the blow off valve welded on, have the intake air temperature sensor welded on, run that oil drain line, and make the down pipe. I think that's pretty much it. If I'm forgetting anything, y'all let me know. But that's going to end this video. Y'all like and subscribe and have a great day.